We all love to pull a Christmas cracker. Well, tonight, live from Blackheath Halls, here on the Help Musicians YouTube channel, an extra special Christmas cracker is about to get underway. The unstoppable Susan Bullock, Nicky Spence and Iain Burnside have come together with a raft of extra special guests to give us all a Christmas gift to remember. Well, 2020 has been a really challenging year beyond all of our imaginations. However, we've never really lost sight of the crucial role the arts, in particular music, has played in building bridges and giving hope. The sheer perseverance of people like Susan, Nicky and Iain and all our wonderful guests tonight continue to show that no matter what challenges we face, we can and will come together and deliver the medicine each and every one of us requires: the arts. So on behalf of Help Musicians, I would like to say a huge, heartfelt thank you to you all for creating such a special Christmas cracker for us all to enjoy and remember. Have a wonderful time.
As I evening and thank you for joining us here at the Blackheath Halls for our Christmas cracker in aid of help musicians.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who is tuning in across the digisphere. It's such a pleasure to be here with my Christmas comrades. Of course, an evening would not be complete without a kilted man at the piano. And this evening, it had to be Iain Burnside, who is graciously giving us his accompaniment and his legs. Both come for free, I believe. This is Nick Daniel, of course, who has many accolades which we shall entrance you with later, but we shall release him from the sacred space for now so he can eat a mince pie.
Thank you, Nick.
Or two. I'll tell you a bit about why we're here. Now, Help Musicians was set up nearly 100 years ago after the death of Edward Elgar. And since then, they have become the pioneering charity who looks after musicians when they're in trouble. Now, before this year, that could have been during illness or during mental health issues or, lots of crises which musicians have to deal with. But this year, they've really come into their own.
During the pandemic, the response from Help Musicians has been absolutely fantastic. So far, in 3 phases of help and support, they have supported 21,000 musicians to the cost of £14 million, not only for everyday hardship, paying the rent, paying bills, but for mental health problems caused by the pandemic, and also for help and advice in how to go forward when we actually all get back to work eventually. So business plans, career development, that kind of thing.
We're so grateful to everybody who has given their time to us this evening and to you. We had lovely Dame Evan Glennie there, our president, launching us off, welcoming you all here. And with a bit of preamble, we've managed already, before we've even begun, to raise £1,000. Now, £1,000 does a lot, but we need to raise a lot more this evening. We're really hoping that you can dig deep and rustle in your pockets and get on the internet. There's a few different ways that you can donate this evening. If you are feeling flush and have got a bit of cash, please go on to helpmusicians.org.uk and there you can specify the amount of money that you have. We realise that it is a difficult time for many of us, so if you're able to give just a wee bit, please text music1, all one word, to 70970 to gift £5 or 70191 to gift £10, and you will see this rolling along the bottom of the screen. That's how technical we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
Now, shall we sashay over to the Christmas tree soon?
In true Strictly form.
Let's
Okay,
go.
let's
Ready?
go.
Here we go. Sashay. Sashay.
Sashay,
Sashay.
sashay.
Here we are. Oh, there we are. New camera.
Hello, new camera. Now, we're delighted to have so many fabulous guests with us this evening, and we're going to pull a cracker to see who our first guest is.
Come on.
Come on, Nicky.
This is the first thing I've pulled this week. Oh! Hang on. Who's in there?
None other than Simon Callow, Mr. Christmas himself. He's going to read us an excerpt from Mr. Pickwick's Papers, thank you, by Charles Dickens. Fantastic, Simon. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Callow.
Samuel Pickwick and the members of his eponymous club, as well as Mr. Pickwick's inimitable servant, Sam Weller, or Vella, the pronunciation is all according to the taste and fancy of the speaker, leapt into Dickens's brain, fully fledged, in the year 1836, when he was still a very young fellow of 24 years of age, a year before Queen Victoria came to the throne. It seemed that the entire nation was impatiently awaiting the next weekly instalment. Mr. Pickwick, most genial of men, has a sharp curiosity about every natural phenomenon in the wide world, but nothing more warmed his heart, or those of the members of the club that bears his name, than the Christmas season. As brisk as bees, if not altogether as light as fairies, did the 4 Pickwickians assemble on the morning of the 24th day of December, in the year of grace in which their faithfully recorded adventures were undertaken and accomplished. Christmas was close at hand, in all his bluff and hearty honesty. It was the season of hospitality, merriment, and open-heartedness, The old year was preparing, like an ancient philosopher, to call his friends around him, and amidst the sound of feasting and revelry, to pass gently and calmly away. Gay and merry was the time, and right gay and merry were at least 4 of the numerous hearts that were gladdened by its coming. And numerous indeed are the hearts to which Christmas brings a brief season of happiness and enjoyment. How many families whose members have been dispensed and scattered far and wide in the restless struggles of life are then reunited and meet once again in that happy state of companionship and mutual goodwill, which is such a source of pure and unalloyed delight. How many old recollections and how many dormant sympathies does Christmas time awaken? Happy, happy Christmas, that can win us back to the delusions of our childish days, that can recall to the old man the pleasures of his youth, that can transport the sailor and the traveller thousands of miles away back to his own fireside and his quiet home. But we're so taken up and occupied with the good qualities of this Saint Christmas that we're keeping Mr. Pickwick and his friends waiting in the cold on the outside of the Muggleton coach. On arrival, they all 3 repaired to Mr. Wardle's large kitchen, in which the family were by this time assembled, according to annual custom on Christmas Eve, observed by old Wardle's forefathers from time immemorial. From the centre of the ceiling of this kitchen, old Wardle had just suspended, with his own hands, a huge branch of mistletoe, and this same branch of mistletoe instantaneously gave rise to a scene of general and most delightful struggling and confusion, and in the midst of which Mr. Pickwick, with a gallantry that would have done honour to a descendant of Lady Tollem-Glower herself, took the old lady by the hand, led her beneath the mystic branch, and saluted her in all courtesy and decorum. The old lady submitted to this piece of practical politeness with all the dignity which befitted so important and serious a solemnity. But the younger ladies screamed and struggled and ran into corners and threatened and remonstrated and did everything but leave the room until some of the less adventurous gentlemen were on the point of desisting, when they all at once found it useless to resist any longer and submitted to be kissed with a good grace. Mr. Winkle kissed the young lady with the black eyes, and Mr. Snodgrass kissed Emily, and Mr. Weller, not being particular about the form of being under the mistletoe, kissed Emma and the other female servants just as he called them. As to the poor relations, they kissed everybody. Mr. Pickwick was standing under the mistletoe, looking with a very pleased countenance on all that was passing around him, when the young lady with the black eyes, after a little whispering with the other young ladies, made a sudden dart forward, and putting her arm around Mr. Pickwick's neck, saluted him affectionately on the left cheek. And before Mr. Pickwick distinctly knew what was the matter, he was surrounded by the whole body and kissed by every one of them. "This," said Mr. Pickwick, looking around him, "this is indeed comfort." "Our invariable custom," replied Mr. Wardle. "Everybody sits down with us on Christmas Eve, as you see them now, servants and all, and here we wait until the clock strikes 12 to usher Christmas in. Trundle, my boy, rake up the fire." Up flew the bright sparks in myriads as the logs were stirred. The deep red blaze sent forth a rich glow that penetrated into the farthest corner of the room and cast its cheerful tint onto every face. "Come," said Wardle, "a song, a Christmas song. I'll give you one, in default of a better." And thus saying, the merry old gentleman, in a good, round, sturdy voice, commenced without more ado. "God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing ye dismay."
The lustrous voicings there of Simon Callow. It was as if we were celebrating Dickensian London. Not today, ladies and gentlemen. We're very modern here, with the modern kilt of Iain Burnside. Now, are you ready for Christmas, Iain?
Ready and willing.
Yes?
Yep.
Is this the first cracker you've pulled?
It is.
Well, let's get it done
Ready,
to see
steady.
who our next artist is. Oh, there we go, sorry. Everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. We'll give you your prize later. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have Eilish Tynan, none other than. She's a glorious Irish soprano. She will come to view very shortly. But first off, we're going to see why we're raising money for this evening. Help Musicians have put a lovely video together with testimonials of people who have really been helped during this pandemic. Here we go.
All the venues closed, studios stopped booking sessions, lockdown made teaching pretty much impossible.
We've had the rug pulled from underneath us.
We had no idea where the next meal and the next payment was coming from.
This was a time I needed so much help.
I'd lost better than 6 months' worth of work practically overnight.
I hadn't realised the toll it had taken on my emotional well-being.
But you reached out.
Coronavirus fund came at a crucial time for me. I had no idea what my financial future looked like.
I heard about Help Musicians and at first didn't believe necessarily that it was true.
The easing of my immediate financial worries and very powerfully the messaging that I wasn't on my own.
That there were people out there that cared.
If it wasn't for the coronavirus fund, I would probably have had to sell instruments.
It really alleviated all the stress of worrying about the basic essentials.
We were able to have food on our table.
This is my heartbeat, my recording studio. It helped me to pay my mortgages.
This grant from Help Musicians reminded me that what I do actually matters.
I remember the day that I received the money into my bank account and I saw it and I actually burst into tears.
Thank you so much, Help Musicians, and everybody who donated to make the funding possible.
I want to say thank you, but it doesn't seem big enough.
Wonderful to see the breadth of help being offered by Help Musicians this year. It really is so important. Thank you for watching. So now to get us really in the Christmas mood, we have Eilish Tynan, accompanied by Iain Burnside and some heavenly voices of Mary Bevan and Susan Bullock. This is by Humperdinck and it's a Christmas song called Liza Vates. Just imagine the children's excited faces in the window and Christmas trees glistening for everybody to see. Eilish Tynan.
Herz mit starkem
much, Andy, and that was absolutely beautiful. Ailish, before you disappear, could I ask you to pull a cracker with us?
I'd be thrilled to pull a cracker with you, Sue.
Come on. Oh! Oh, it's a hit. I seem to be winning all of these. Okay. There's the hat. We don't want the hat. Aha. So the next guest who's going to pop out of our cracker is none other than one of our Help Musicians ambassadors, the one and only Tasmin Little. Tasmin is at the moment about to retire. She's finishing her tour of concerts, and she's very gracefully and very kindly sent us a little message now. So here is Tasmin Little.
Hello everybody, my name's Tasmin Little, and I'm making this short video on behalf of the wonderful musicians charity Help Musicians. This year has been a terrible time for so many people in the creative sector, and especially musicians who've had little or no work whatsoever. And without the support of Help Musicians, I think many people would have experienced even more dire financial hardship. So on behalf of all at Help Musicians, of whom I'm happy and proud to be an ambassador, thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoy this version of Silent Night that I have just created. Have a peaceful Christmas.
Absolutely beautiful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to remind you about donating. So I'm going to look at this piece of paper and get it right. So please text music1, that's all one word, 70970 to gift £5, 70191 to gift £10, or if you're feeling really generous, you could go on to helpmusicians.org.uk and actually give as much as you would like. Thank you so much.
Exactly. And we were entranced by Tasmin there doing Silent Night. I feel like we might have some more Silent Night later, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got people watching from all over the world.
It's fantastic.
Sydney, Australia,
South
Holland,
of
Michigan,
France,
south of France,
Portugal,
Twickenham, you know, all the greats. It's lovely, ladies and gentlemen. So please keep donating. Let's pull another cracker, shall we, Sue?
Let's pull a cracker.
Come on. Oh, go on. Oh.
Again.
You've had your Weetabix today, Sue.
Right. Well, I'm going to give this to you so you can tell us who's coming next.
Fantastic. Now, we're talking a lot about Christmas, but of course we know the most important date is coming up soon.
Oh, hi, Hogmanay.
Hogmanay. Have you had your Scotch egg?
Was it a substantial one?
It's always a substantial Scotch egg when I'm involved.
Absolutely, Nicky. I've had several Scotch eggs.
That's what I've heard.
But this is a bit of a Celtic fest, I think.
It is a Celtic fest. We're taking over. It's like the Highland clearances, and we've just moved into Blackheath. In all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a Scottish-infused number coming up now with Nick Daniel. That's what it says on the little bit of paper. He's going to do by Goddard, fantastic composers. This is the Marche de Highlander, which is the March of the Highlanders, for you at home who aren't up with your Scottish Franco connection. Over to you, Nick and Iain. as we say in Scotland.
That was fantastic.
Have us all grabbing for our haggises.
Absolutely.
Or haggai. Not sure how that works. Well done, gentlemen. Fantastic. Iain Burnside's kilt coming into its own there. What a fantastic tribute to Scotland. And we're so lucky to have these guys here tonight. Everybody who is performing really are top-class international musicians. And recently, Nick Daniel was awarded the Queen's Medal for Music, which is such an important honour. And we're just so blessed to have everybody here this evening.
Everybody here has given their services, which is fantastic. Everybody's busy, it's coming up to Christmas, but we've been so lucky, for which thank you to everybody. Now, one of the greatest impacts of this pandemic has hit young singers, which is very close to both Nicky and my heart. Singers leaving university, leaving college, leaving conservatoires, people who've just left and are about to start their careers, to suddenly have it all swept away from them with no sign of ever recovering, it must have felt at the time. So we're thinking very hard about how we can help these young people to continue having their lessons, not to lose hope, how to get support, and how to keep following the dream that they set out to do when they went to university or college. And with that in mind...
Yes, one of the fantastic organisations in this country who champion young singers is British Youth Opera. I was there years ago, back when I had a waistline and a jawline, ladies and gentlemen, and lots of fantastic singers went through the ranks there, and it's like a finishing school, and it really gives them the skills, hopefully, to have fruitful careers. And they've shape-shifted this year to be able to give an offering, which is still really important, and will hopefully give them a good toolbox for the future. And they've given us an offering for this evening. We won't pull the cracker. We know what's coming next, don't we, Sue?
We do indeed. It was interesting that when we spoke to people and asked them what their favourite carol was, Stille Nacht, Silent Night, came up several times. So here we now have British Youth Opera singing Stille Nacht, Silent Night.
I'm Frank Farrell, and I'm a record producer working with various artists internationally and also for myself. I was listening to Prodigy about 9, and then I couldn't really find that music where I lived around here in Stratford. So I started writing songs when I was 14. By the time I was 21, I got the opportunity to work on DJ Hero. One of the weirdest things I've ever been told was, can you have this in by Friday? Because Dr. Dre's testing it in his studio at the weekend with his mates to see how it plays and stuff. Until January, I've been largely working as a music teacher. And in January, I'd stopped that and had gone full blown back into writing, and so I'd kind of lost what was a steady income. I think the most important part of the Help Musicians programme was just how open and helpful and understanding they were. The fact they offered like some financial support was just most appreciated, especially a time when all work had cancelled. I just feel like I've got a consistent kind of career path now, which I wouldn't have had if I hadn't have kind of been involved with Help Musicians.
Seasonal reading by H.H. Munro, writing as Saki. Reginald on Christmas presents. I wish it to be distinctly understood, said Reginald, that I don't want a George, Prince of Wales prayer book as a Christmas present. That fact cannot be too widely known. There ought, he continued, to be technical education classes on the science of present giving. No one seems to have the faintest notion as to what anyone else wants, and the prevalent ideas on the subject are not credible to a civilized nation. There is, for instance, the female relative in the country who knows a tie is always useful and sends some spotted horror that could only be worn in secret or on the Tottenham Court Road. It might have been useful had she kept it to tie up currant bushes with, when it would have served the double purpose of supporting the branches and frightening away the birds. For it is an admitted fact that the ordinary tom-tit of commerce has a sounder aesthetic than the average female relative in the country. Then there are aunts. They're always a difficult class to deal with in the matter of presents. The trouble is, one never really catches them young enough. By the time one has educated them to an appreciation of the fact that one does not wear red woolen mittens in the West End, they die, or quarrel with the family, or do something else equally inconsiderate. That is why the supply of trained aunts is always so precarious. There is my Aunt Agatha, for example, who sent me a pair of gloves last Christmas and even got so far as to choose a kind that was being worn and had the correct number of buttons. But they were 9s. I sent them to a boy who I hated intimately. He didn't wear them, of course, but he could have done. That was where the bitterness of death came in. It was nearly as consoling as sending white flowers to his funeral. Of course, I wrote and told my aunt that they were the one thing that had been wanting to make existence blossom like a rose. I'm afraid she thought me frivolous. She comes from the north, where they live in fear of heaven, and the Earl of Durham. Aunts with a dash of foreign extraction in them are the most satisfactory in the ways of understanding these things, but if you can't choose your aunt, it's wisest in the long run to choose your present and send them the bill. Even friends of one's own set, who might be expected to know better, have curious delusions as to the subject of presents. I am not collecting the cheaper editions of Omar Khayyam. I gave the last 4 I received to the lift boy, and I like to think of him reading them with Fitzgerald's notes to his aged mother. Lift boys always have aged mothers. Shows such nice feeling on their part, I think. Personally, I can't see where the difficulty of choosing presents lies. No one who brought himself up properly could fail to appreciate one of those decorative bottles of liqueurs that are so reverently staged in Morell's window. And it wouldn't matter in the least if one did get duplicates. And of course, there'd always be the supreme moment of delicious uncertainty as to whether it was creme de menthe or chartreuse. People may say much about the decay of Christianity, but the religious system that produced green chartreuse can never really die. And then, of course, there are liqueur glasses and crystallized fruits and tapestry curtains and heaps of other necessities of life that make really suitable presents, not to speak of luxuries such as having one's bills paid or getting something quite sweet in the way of jewellery. Unlike the alleged good woman of the Bible, I'm not above rubies. The great charm about me, concluded Reginald, is that I'm so easily pleased. But I do draw the line at a Prince of Wales prayer book.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our reader needs no introduction. The great Petrock Trelawney, the voice of Radio 3. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
It is a gorgeous speaking voice, isn't it?
I know. I wish we'd got you to do all the talking now.
I know. Oh, Sue, we're doing well.
We are. We're trying.
I wake up to Petrock every morning.
Yes, so do I.
He's like Father Christmas. How does he get all of his magic in all the houses all at once? Who knows? Are we ready to pull another cracker?
I think we might be.
Yes, absolutely. Now, while Sue's getting the cracker, you heard from Frank Farrell there, a testimonial about his experience during the pandemic. Every musician has had a different journey, and that's why we're having lots of fun tonight, but I cannot stress enough how important it is that we manage to get musicians back on their feet. Some of our colleagues haven't been able to have any money at all from the government schemes since March. That is a whole year, and these are people who have given their lives to music. They've devoted training, years and years of training, and I'm sure we all realise, maybe even watching this tonight, how important music is. So please do donate by text if you can, £5 or £10, using the details below, or get online to helpmusicians.org.uk if you're able to give some more. Thank you so much. Now let's pull this cracker.
I hope you win this one.
Well, I haven't won many, Sue.
Come on.
Oh.
Cheated.
It's my lucky day. Cheated, love. I've had a bill of strength. Anyway, now we're looking forward to the next item. I know it's in here because I'm kind of psychic. It's Ben Glassberg and Samantha Spiro. Now, they happen to be related. Could you imagine having such a glorious, talented Christmas get-together with this pair? It would be so exciting. It would be like the Fond Trap Family Singers all over again. They're going to give us a special number. Ben Glassberg is a fantastic conductor, a maverick, a young man who's really having his name everywhere in the conducting scene. And I'm sure Samantha Spiro needs no introduction. I've seen her on Game of Thrones. Last night she was on TV doing a lovely tribute to Dame Barbara Windsor, who sadly left us in the week, and she did a lovely portrayal in a biopic for her too. So we're so lucky. So please enjoy. Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my aunt.
And I'm Sam, and he's my nephew.
And we're so grateful to you all for supporting musicians at this time of year.
And we just want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And here's to 2021.
Yeah.
And that's Gramps, who's watching. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year all our troubles will be miles away. Once again, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together. If the fates
Thank you, Ben and Sam. That was absolutely gorgeous. Time for another artist now, but I think I need a bit of help. I believe one of Santa's elves might be in the hall. Oh yeah, can you come over? Can you come over? Okay, will you pull the cracker with me?
Yes.
Okay, I hope you win. Oh, you won. Yes, you won. Now tell me who's in there. Come on.
Hang on a minute. That's my mum.
Your mum? I thought you were an elf. Thank you very much. We've got an elf in the house who's got a mum who's going to sing. And that mum is the lovely Mary Bevan. Now, during the pandemic, Mary has been so active fundraising with her a project called Music at the Tower. She's the founder of it. And this takes place at St Mary's Tower in Hornsey. And during the summer, she managed to raise £25,000, which was split between paying artists as well as giving money to help musicians. So she's worked really, really hard, but we're not letting her off the hook. She's here tonight, and then tomorrow, the winter edition of Music at the Tower will take place at 5 o'clock, and it's free for everybody to attend. So please support Mary in her efforts tomorrow as well. Mary Bevan. Thank you.
Musicians, in these challenging times, they lift our spirits, calm our souls, and keep us going. They give us comfort, joy, and hope. And while musicians do all this for us, who looks after them? We do. We're Help Musicians, a charity that gives a lifetime of support. And right now, our help is needed more than ever. With concerts, gigs, recording sessions, and rehearsals all cancelled, tens of thousands of musicians have lost their income and are facing extreme hardship. We are here to support them, but we need your help. To donate now or learn more, visit our website. Another reminder why we're here this evening, donating to a fantastic charity. Thank you so much for all your support. Now, if only I had somebody to pull a cracker with me. Anybody? Oh, hang on, who's this? Here she comes. Look at her gold bespangled. Get away. Elf and safety. Elf and safety. Elf and safety. A heart of gold and a jumpsuit of gold. You win it, baby. Oh, didn't even crack. We live life on the edge here. Oh, we're over here now. Okay, we're moving over. Sashaying. Oh, typical live theatre, ladies and gentlemen. So what was that song you just sang, by the way?
Weihnachtsgefühl by Strauss.
By Strauss, with lovely Iain on the piano. It's such a lovely song.
It's lovely, isn't
It's a one-pager.
Thank you for introducing it to me.
Well, you are welcome. Check's in the post. Okay, next up we have three fantastic artists. As we said, young artists really have felt the pinch this year, so it's great to see them singing and playing so well. Please put your virtual hands together for Francis Gregory, Darwin Prakash and Dylan Perez.
Thank you so much to Francis, Darwin and Dylan for that wonderful rendition, complete with snow, I hope you noticed. We're coming to the end of our programme and we'd like to thank everybody who's helped us to put this together. We'd like to thank all the artists yet again. We can't say thank you enough. We'd like to tell you that the Blackheath Halls have been absolutely fantastic and have given us this space and have helped us to prepare. It's been wonderful.
It has. And thank you, Sue. This has been lovely to be with you, hanging out. We haven't seen each other for months.
We haven't seen each other for 9 months. Most of us haven't seen each other for months or years.
Now, what about that man on the piano?
Oh, Mr. Burnside. What can we say? What can we say about Mr. Burnside apart from the fact that he's a legend? And thank you so, so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. And also, of course, to Help Musicians UK. They've worked hard with us to put this together, and we really, really hope that you've enjoyed the evening and that you will donate. Please help us. Every single penny will go to somebody who really needs it. So we really do appreciate your kindness.
Thank you. And this video will be available for the rest of the weekend. So send it to your friends. Imagine it's a present. Say, here you go, watch this video, get your hands in your pockets, send us some money. Thank you so much. But now we're at the last song.
We are. Not all Christmases go as well as we'd like them to.
Exactly.
And this particular couple haven't had a really great time.
Here we go.
The first day after Christmas, my true love and I had a fight. And so I chopped the pear tree down and burned it just for spite. Then with a single
Christmas, I pulled on me old rubber gloves and very gently strung the necks of those both two turtle doves. My true love, my true love, my true love gave to me.
The third day after Christmas, my mother caught the croup. I had to use the 3 French hens to make some chicken soup.
Lovely. The 4 calling birds were a big mistake, for their language was obscene.
The 5 gold rings were completely fake, and they turned my fingers green.
The 6th day after Christmas, the 6 laying geese wouldn't lay. I gave the hold-on gaggle to the RSPCA.
On the 7th day, what a mess I found!
All 7 of the swans had drowned.
My true love, my true love,
My true love gave to me. Is there any more?
there is the 8th day after Christmas, before they could suspect, I bundled up the 8 maids a-milking,
9 pipers piping,
10 ladies dancing,
11 lords a-leaping.
12 drummers drumming.
Oh, actually, I did keep one of the drummers.
Nicky.
And sent them back collect.
I wrote my true love.
We are through love, and I said in so many words, furthermore your Christmas gifts were 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in the tree. We're welcoming back Petroc Trelawney for one final note.
Derek Mann, the great Irish poet, died on October the 1st at the age of 78. When he was much younger, he nearly died of a condition that saw him in hospital for a long period of time. And as he recovered, he wrote a poem that in Ireland has become rather emblematic of optimism after the terrible events of the past year. Derek Mann. How should I not be glad to contemplate the clouds clearing beyond the dormer window and a high tide reflected on the ceiling? There will be dying, but there's no need to go into that. The poems flow from the hand unbidden, and the hidden source is the watchful heart. The sun rises in spite of everything, and the far cities are beautiful and bright. I lie here in a riot of sunlight, watching the day break and the clouds flying. Everything is going to be all right.
We would just like to say to everybody, very socially distanced, ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas! Thank you for donating. And
Thank you.
3 cheers for a great new year. Hip hip!
Hooray!